From the High Definition Production Center of Troy University's Broadcast and Digital Network and Troy campuses around the world, this is Troy TrojanVision Weekly.
Hello and welcome to Troy TrojanVision Weekly. We're glad you joined us for this look at what's happening in and around Troy University. I'm your host, Aaron Taylor. Last Friday, President Trump signed an executive order restricting travel into the U.S. from 7 predominantly Muslim nations that some Troy University students call home. Sarah Singletary shows us what the university plans to do.
The effects of President Donald Trump's executive order banning travel into the United States from 7 Muslim-majority countries are being felt on the Troy University campus. The university is currently home to students from 3 of the 7 banned countries, and 20 students from 2 of the banned countries, Iraq and Iran, have applied for admission to Troy. Troy University Chancellor Jack Hawkins says that while the executive order has little effect on university practices, it has generated anxiety.
The effect that it may have, obviously, and it's a concern that we have, is on the anxiety level of our students, and particularly what it might do to those students who are in the pipeline who want to come from all over the world to Troy University. And so that's where the primary concern rests.
And while the future is a concern, Hawkins says Troy students currently enrolled from the 7 banned countries should consider staying in the United States for the time being.
For those students from those countries, we're encouraging them or discouraging them from leaving this country until this is all resolved. I would say do not leave if this experience is of value to you, because it'll be very difficult to come back.
And while the executive order has been a source of division for some, Hawkins believes it will unite the Troy community.
I would predict and expect that we'll grow together as a community. I hope as a result of this, our international students know how much we care about them and how collaborative this environment is. This is a special place, and it's a special place because we have special people taking care of these students, and we have special students too.
Troy University's Janice Hawkins Park won't be the only park in Alabama to be home to Chinese Terracotta warriors. Some of them will find a home in the capital city. Last Thursday, Troy University Chancellor Jack Hawkins presented Montgomery Mayor Todd Strange with a pair of terracotta warriors, similar to those housed at Janice Hawkins Cultural Arts Park. The donated warriors will be featured in a sculpture garden the city of Montgomery has planned.
I've known Todd a long time, and he never misses an opportunity on behalf of his great city. He said, we need some of those warriors in Montgomery. And so he told me then about the sculpture garden at the Montgomery Museum of Art, and it's there that these 2 warriors will stand as an expression of our appreciation for the people of this region and for Mayor Strange.
And even though most of the world celebrated the start to a new year on January 1st, last Friday night, Troy University students got the chance to ring in the new year Chinese style. Samantha Charles gives us a look at the festivities.
Xingying Hao, or Happy New Year. Chinese New Year is celebrated all across the world, and this year is the year of the rooster.
There's 12 different animals in the Chinese zodiac, and the animals are for each year. So for example, I was born in 1994, so I'm year of the dog. This year it's year of the rooster. It's a 12-year cycle, so 12 years from now, we'll have another year of the rooster.
The date of the Chinese New Year, or Spring Festival, as it's been called since the 20th century, is determined by the first day of the Chinese lunar calendar. It's different each year, but is always between January 21st and February 20th.
The Chinese calendar is a little bit different than our calendar, and it has to do with more ancient traditions. But, you know, just because we have such a huge Chinese population here at Troy University, it's such an important holiday for us to celebrate as a community.
With Troy University being Alabama's international university and having over 300 Chinese students,
we support their cultural celebrations for them, so that they can celebrate their own cultural celebrations, but also so that we can learn, so we can expand our own worldview.
Drivers with an allegiance to Troy University have been able to show their Trojan pride through a Troy University vanity plate for their car. However, the plate, which is a fairly common sight on campus, now has a new look. Justin Walker has the story.
By law, Troy University must change the design of its university license plates every 5 years, and 2017 marked the change from the old to the new. A newly designed Troy University car tag was made available at probate offices throughout the state of Alabama beginning on January the 1st. The new design was created by a group of university leaders that wanted to add a different look to the plates.
This is Troy University, and it's a great process. We get all the leadership involved. Dr. Hawkins is involved. The marketing, communications folks are involved to really look at how we can make it fresh and vibrant. And I'm excited about this year's tag. We've had a great response to it.
Troy University has offered a specialized car tag for more than 20 years, but the key change of this year's car tag is that it now offers 6 characters instead of the normal 5.
We've got a power T on there now, and we moved Hector so that the Trojan warrior is shadowed behind the letters. And then one of the things that people are super excited about is 6 letters instead of 5 on the previous one. That gives you a whole lot more personalization options.
Last year alone, more than 9,000 Troy University car tags were purchased, and according to Pike County probate judge Wes Allen, Troy University ranked 3rd among Alabama University car tag sales.
Well, Pike County by far sells the most Troy University car tags. I believe Troy University is 3rd in the state in university car tag sales. So Troy has a very good following, proud alumni, and we're very proud of that fact as well.
A $50 cost is placed on the license plates, but most of that money is given right back to the school and used to fund the university's scholarships.
What we've done is endow a fund for scholarships with that money. So we have legacy scholarships for the children alumni that are funded by that, as well as study abroad scholarships.
To date, around $4 million has been collected for scholarships through the purchase of Troy University car tags. Justin Walker, Troy, Trojan Vision News.
We're going to take a short break, but when we return, we'll see how a collection of postcards are helping tell the history of Alabama. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
This is Dr. Daniel Smith. He's an expert in domestic and international economics. But his proudest achievement is connecting with his students and helping them accomplish more than they ever thought possible. That's the warrior spirit, and it's alive and well at Troy University. Feel it at troy.edu/spirit.
Hey, Hard, what's this?
That's my resignation letter.
You're resigning.
Why? Because you're constantly ignoring me. You're half as active as you used to be, and you eat stuff like this. You've been putting me under a lot of pressure lately. That's why I'm ready to quit.
I forgot. I'll do better. Please.
Don't quit on me. Okay. But remember, it's not what you say, it's what you do.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you.
Let's go for a walk.
Uncontrolled high blood pressure could lead to a stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range before it's too late.
Now back to Troy Trojan Vision News Weekly.
Troy University students and faculty paid their final respects to Dr. Neil Billington Tuesday afternoon. Billington was a science professor that was a favorite of many Troy students and a beloved colleague to many professors on campus. Seth Hawk has the story.
Tuesday afternoon, students, friends, family, and colleagues gathered in McCall Hall to remember the life and legacy of Dr. Neil Billington, a professor of science at Troy University who passed away on January 18th of this year.
Dr. B was a very interesting and memorable person. I started school here in 2001. I think by 2003 I had Dr. Billington probably for my first class. I'm going to say I had him for 5 or 6 courses over the years, both undergrad and grad, and then eventually being hired on here and being a colleague. Dr. Billington was always a joyful person, very memorable.
According to Jonathan Miller, there was a notable difference between the students Miller taught and the students Billington taught.
I think one of the most significant things to me is how many students forget who I am, forget my name, forget my face, but there's never been a student, to my knowledge, that has forgotten who Dr. Billington is, that has forgotten a story of his. Everybody has a Dr. B story.
Dr. Billington's brothers made a trip across the pond to speak to the Troy University faculty and students, and Dr. Billington's younger brother Paul said he could see the legacy that Dr. Billington had left behind.
I think I just summed it up to one of the guys in there who said that, you know, Dr. Billington had taken him from a place where he didn't feel very comfortable at college and everything else, and really mentored him to a place where he feels he'll now graduate with a very strong grade. And I think Neil's legacy would be, you know, everybody try your best and try and achieve your goals. And if Neil played a small part in that, you know, that would be his wish, that you would go on to fulfill your potential.
Seth Hawk, Troy, Trojan Vision News.
A collection of postcards dating back to the 1800s are helping tell the history of Alabama. The postcards are part of a traveling exhibit celebrating Alabama's bicentennial, and they made their debut in the Troy University Library this week. Sarah Jones gives us a look.
When Wade Hall donated his postcard collection 11 years ago, he had no clue what legacy he was leaving behind. After Hall's death in 2015, Troy University faculty members gathered together to create the Wade Hall Postcard Collection, a traveling exhibition whose first stop was none other than the Troy University Library. Dr. Chris Schaefer, Dean of University Libraries, believes that the collection is beneficial to Troy University students.
I think it's a great way for the students to get a fast history of the state of Alabama in just a simple way. It's just very nice and concise, but one of the exhibits is main streets across Alabama, and the other one is in significant buildings across Alabama. So it's just a great way to learn a little bit about a lot of different places.
Troy faculty members and students were not the only ones in attendance for the kickoff reception held on Tuesday. Greg Swim, friend of Wade Hall, is pleased with the efforts Troy has made to preserve Hall's legacy.
I think this school was so important in his life. He graduated in 1953. He came here in 1950, and he said it was really just a country college in those days. It was a small teachers' college, and but it was his gateway to the world. You know, it provided an outlet, a learning outlet, and exposed him to people and places that, you know, he would never have been exposed to.
The Wade Hall Postcard Collection will be traveling across the state of Alabama as a part of Alabama's bicentennial celebration, whose theme is Discovering Our Places. Sarah Jones, Troy, Trojan Vision News.
Every year, Troy University gives its faculty and staff the opportunity to give back to the school. Thursday was the first chance for them to make their donation to the annual fund. Daniel Walker explains.
Troy University kicked off its annual faculty and staff campaign on Thursday. The campaign is designed to encourage all Troy University faculty and staff to donate money to the school. Rhonda Dennison, Director of Annual Giving, says the campaign's goal is to generate 100% donation participation on all Troy campuses.
We encourage participation on all colleges at all levels. If you give $1, that's participation. It's not about the amount, it's about the gift that you gave. And the money goes into, you can designate your funds. Most of the colleges have funds set up, like say if College of Education, that employee, faculty, or staff wants to donate, they can designate it to College of Education.
And if donors do not wish to give money to a specific fund, the university does offer a general fund option which helps cover some student needs.
We have a general annual fund. If your money is not designated, it will go to the Troy General Fund that helps. We'll send students to Germany, France. If they need money to go on, we won't fund the whole trip, but we'll help them. Scholarships. And that's always a need for students.
And not only can donations benefit Troy students, but Dennison says the money may also make its way back into professors' classrooms.
It looks good for faculty to get involved as well because they can give back to the school they work for. You can designate, like these professors could designate back to their school. And if they're in need of classroom equipment, they could possibly use the money for that on down the road.
Anyone interested in donating to the campaign can contact the development office on their campus. Daniel Walker, Troy, Trojan Vision News.
We're going to take another quick break, but when we come back, we'll get a glimpse of this year's Pike Piddler Storytelling Festival. So don't touch that dial.
I think what Troy Public Radio does uniquely in this community is take the time to tell longer stories. That's one benefit of public radio, is that we actually have a lot of time to delve into an issue, to delve into a story. We're able to take the time to tell longer stories. And really, radio is such a personal medium and it's such a direct medium that I think when we're doing that and we're doing it specifically in this community, we're giving you a different perspective on the world and a different perspective on what you need for your daily life. And also bringing you closer to the people that live in your community. Maybe it's not somebody who lives next door to you or even down the street from you. Maybe it's somebody who lives 2 counties over, but you know their story and you know why it's important because you've spent time with them, listening to them on the radio and a large amount of time. So I think that's what makes Troy Public Radio unique to this part of the world and unique to what we do every day.
Now back to Troy Trojan Vision News Weekly.
People from all over were in a treat last Saturday as the 11th annual Pike Piddler Storytelling Festival was held in the Trojan Center Theater. Justin Walker has the details.
And my eyebrows look like some old witch's broom.
The Pike Piddler Storytelling Festival entered its 11th year on Saturday, and to the delight of the crowd, it made a stop on the campus of Troy University as performers from all over the country came to provide laughter to the audience. One of those performers was storyteller Josh Goforth, who has made it a yearly tradition to visit Pike County while touring with the festival. He says what drew him to the place was the hospitality he was shown the first time he visited.
When I came the first year, the people were so warm, so kind, and it's kind of been a tradition for me to be back here performing for the Storytelling Festival.
Each performer had his own reason for storytelling, but for Goforth, he says his main reason is to give the members of his audience an escape from their reality, even for just a few minutes.
You know, I think for me as a performer, it's always the same goal, which is to not make it like it's me performing for them, but to bring them with me somewhere and for them to be kind of teleported away from their own life and troubles and everyday goings on to like come see the way I grew up, where I grew up, meet the people that I met when I was a kid. And there's a magic in that, in being able to bring people to that spot in your mind. And so that's what I hope to accomplish.
And Goforth, who is also a Grammy-nominated musician, shares with me where he gets his story ideas.
Most of my stories are from growing up, and I grew up in a place that was really secluded. I mean, this is a place my family moved into in the 1700s. So getting to see this as a kid, I mean, there is no shortage of characters. And so most of my stuff is biopic. It's about the people that I met when I was a kid.
Reservations for next year's festival are already being made. The festival will be held on the last weekend in January 2018. Justin Walker, Troy, Trojan Vision News.
Military history and its connection to the capital city was the topic of the first ever History Faculty Colloquium this week. Maxwell Air Force Base and its role in training airmen from around the world during World War II was the lesson of the night. Chelsea Law has the story.
On Tuesday night, Troy students and faculty got to learn a bit about military air history from Dr. Robert Kane, the director of history at Air University.
I was hearing these stories of that British and French flight cadets trained here in the Montgomery area during World War II. And so later, when I became involved in the second master's program, I was searching for a topic for my master's thesis. And I was thinking, well, nobody's written about this topic.
In his lecture, Kane talked about how French airmen and the British Royal Air Force trained together successfully for World War II in Montgomery, at Maxwell, and Gunter Field, despite the cultural and language barriers.
It's still a current topic, and it's really interesting to see how this World War II program kind of preceded the current programs and offer some lessons learned that could have been learned rather than through a error by error process.
Some students took what they learned and thought of ways that it could be prevalent in today's time.
I think it's super important that for Troy students to come out because we're known as the International University of the South, or of Alabama, depending on who you talk to. But we have a history, and just even today, like cooperating with international students. I'm a resident assistant in PACE, so I interact with international students on a daily basis, and so it's kind of cool to see the history, from way back when, I mean, 60, 70 years ago, of international cooperation.
Dr. King's book, So Far From Home, gives us a closer look of this military experience. Chelsea Law, Troy, Trojan Vision News.
Troy's Johnson Center for the Arts is dedicated to bringing diverse new art to the forefront, featuring artists from all kinds of backgrounds. One of the new artists featured at the Johnson Center is Mississippi-born Deborah Eubanks Riffey, whose works are being featured in the exhibit. Nathaniel Rodriguez gives us a look at her work.
The Johnson Center for the Arts is featuring the work of Mississippi native Deborah Eubanks Riff in her new exhibit, I Learned to Sing a Glad New Song. Riff's art includes prints created from designs that were carved into linoleum blocks. According to development coordinator Wiley White, every portion is carved, even the statements that appear to be typed or painted on some of the prints.
And she has a press in her studio, and she rolls the carved relief linoleum piece over this beautiful paper, and she cranks the press, and out comes the piece.
White says Riff's Mississippi upbringing inspired the subject matter of the prints and should be familiar to all audiences.
Everybody will realize be familiar with the subject matter, because you've got a musician over there playing, and the lines around him are making him look like he's moving, a baseball player, a preacher, and I mean, you can find every guitar man, and it's just a fun show. It's a really fun show to come look at.
White also said that in a conversation with Riff, she learned that this exhibit marks another accomplishment in Riff's recent success.
This had been a very good year for her. She was thrilled with the popularity her work had received and the notice it had received, and so she said, I'm so happy this year. I'm having a great year.
A reception for the artist will be held on February 16th from 6 to 8 p.m., where she will be available to the public alongside Ilana Hagler and Belinda Harrison, the other artists featured at the Johnson Center at the moment.
And it's time for our last break. When we return, we'll learn about the Troy cheerleading program's recent success at nationals. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Mom, can we get some ice cream? Please, Mom, please.
No, we're having dinner soon.
Please.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of children in foster care who will take you just as you are.
When you're out there, there's no telling what you'll find.
I see it, I see it. Oh, look at you.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org.
Now back to Troy Trojan Vision News Weekly.
The Troy cheerleading program recently had its best showing ever in national competition. We'll learn more about the team's success and get to know the man in charge of the program in today's Trojan Talk. Hello and welcome to Trojan Talk. I'm your host, Aaron Taylor. Today we'll be talking cheerleading here at Troy University, and my guest today, the coach for the cheerleading team, Richard Watkins. Richard, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
And relatively new to Troy University and Troy University athletics. You just got here in October, and you've already taken the cheerleading squad to nationals and scored one of the highest ranking they've got at nationals. I want to talk about that in just a little bit. Okay. But first, let's just get to know a little bit about you and how you ended up here at Troy.
Well, I taught a UCA camp for Troy back in 2011 or maybe 12. I can't remember the years now, but came out there and I taught their camp, and ever since then, I've been a fan of Troy and coming back here and there, and here I am today.
And so let's talk a little about your history, because you're coaching cheerleading now, but you've been a cheerleader in your day and did some competition. Tell us a little about your background in cheerleading.
I cheered at the University of West Georgia. I won 3 national championships there out of the 5 that I cheered there. Been coaching since 2002. and I just love it.
Love cheerleading.
Yeah.
So you're bringing a championship pedigree with you here to Troy University, and obviously it shows because Troy went down to Orlando, competed in the Nationals, and they've done it before, but fourth place finish, the highest finish that the cheerleading team has had. Tell us a little about the competition and getting down there and doing so well.
Well, our goal since day one of me getting here was getting to finals. That was our goal. And then when we knew we were going to get into finals, that was just our mentality the whole time. And then just hitting finals and put our name in the hat and leave it up to the judges.
And so you got here in October, so we're talking like 3 months to prepare and get there. What did you do when you got here? Did you introduce anything new? Did they have 3 months to have to learn entirely new routines to get ready for nationals?
We worked on a lot of skill-based stuff first, and then we started going through routine work. But mainly, game day was my big focus because I started right at homecoming week. So that was a heck of a week to start.
Heck of a week to start to get started. Probably the busiest cheerleading week of probably the fall. But you talked about the focus being on the field, and a lot of people would think that for competitive cheerleading that the field would probably not be an important aspect of it, but for you that's not necessarily the case. You mentioned it there.
No, it's very important to me because we're student athletes first for Troy University, so we want to make sure we can look good for all of our sports and our fans and the community and just the university.
And so now, coming here in October and introducing a new program, did you introduce any big, huge changes to them? Some slight changes, some tweaks to the program? So
a little bit, mainly no cell phones at practice. That was a tough one to get used to for them. But no, nothing too big. Just a lot of skill-based stuff.
Well, the skill-based stuff. Now, from this point forward, obviously you've got a fourth place finish, so I would assume the goal is to go all the way to the top from this point.
For sure. That's our goal for next year.
And then now for cheerleading, a lot of people don't maybe have that. They have the misconception that cheerleading is just the pep, the pom poms, stuff like that. But what kind of regimen does your squad, I guess, go through on a weekly basis?
Weekly basis, especially for the last 3 months going into nationals, it was a 2-a-day process. We had a lot of 2-a-days, workouts, 6 a.m. workouts, practice, football games, traveling. So they're full-time athletes.
Full-time, and that's probably one of those misconceptions of them being an athlete. Because there's some things that cheerleaders could do that obviously, there may be some other athletes that can't do. I don't know many athletes that might be able to pick up someone and hold them with one hand. So, but that's the kind of stuff that I guess you're working on trying to establish and maybe have the Troy cheerleading squad become a national championship caliber team.
That's what our goal is. That's what we'd like to do here.
And so now, obviously, at some point in the future, you're working with a crew that's already been there, but you're going to start bringing in, recruiting some of your own folks and bringing some folks in there.
That's actually what I've been doing all day today. I've been on the phone recruiting all day. So.
And once again, this misconception thing of recruiting cheerleaders. You think that they're only looking for the football players, the baseball players, but a cheerleading coach is out there looking for the best cheerleading action they can on the team as well. So.
And I would love to stay in the state of Alabama. I mean, this state brings a lot of good cheerleaders out of here. So.
And an opportunity to compete at nationals because obviously you've established a baseline in your first 3 months here. So I guess hopefully it'll only get better from there. So
it should be able to only go up from here. So.
All right. Well, here's hoping that next year we'll bring in here. We'll be talking about that first place finish at nationals and the start of a championship legacy here at Troy University cheerleading.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for joining us here today, and good luck with the rest of your cheerleading recruiting season. Yeah. And here's hoping you bring in some new national championship caliber cheerleaders. Yep. Thanks for joining us today. So
thank you.
Thank you for joining us on today's edition of Trojan Talk. And that's what happened on the first week of February 2017. To find out what's happening throughout the week, you can tune into Troy TrojanVision News at 5, 6:30, and 10:30 Monday through Friday, or anytime by following us on Twitter at Troy TV News. Also, feel free to like our Troy TrojanVision News fan page on Facebook to see links to online content from Troy TrojanVision News. We hope you join us again here next week for another edition of Troy TrojanVision Weekly. Have a good week.